What's up, you guys?
What's up, you guys? I'm here with a new video today, and we're here to talk about why Dark Goki won YCS Niagara Falls this past weekend. As you guys already know, the finals was in the top four. There were 4 different decks. One was the Goki deck you see before you, piloted by Gabe Vargas. If you guys didn't know, Gabe is the one who won our nationals this year with Goki, and he's here to do it again, and he just won a YCS in the same season. Absolutely insane. Shout out to you, bro. You did your thing, man. In the finals, actually, he played against the Danger Dark World FTK that Jeff Jones basically made popular this past weekend, so pretty crazy when you think about it. Another thing is that the other 2 decks were Thunder Dragons and Paleozoic. So the top 4 was very diverse, but at the end, Gokis came out on top. And we're here to talk about basically why that happened and what to expect going into YCS London, as well as any other upcoming YCSs like Pasadena, Regionals, everything coming up. But first off, we're just going to go into his deck. As you can see, he played not only Gokis, but he played the standard dark stuff, but he also played a danger engine, and I think that was one of the big differences in a lot of these lists. A lot of the lists were playing just very different approaches. We're playing like more of like a dark warrior deck, but he decided to go a step further and play the danger cards, which I think is becoming a norm. So I think because of this, he had a lot of success, in addition to Goki just doing what Goki does best. So we're going to get into the deck, and then we're going to talk about why I feel it won this YCS. So the danger monsters, he played 3 Nessie. You guys already know all the dangers basically work as upstart goblins if they're hit, and basically you draw cards and then you're able to add a danger from your deck to your hand if they hit this card. So very good. You have 3 of those, and then you have the one Jackalope, which is able to summon from the deck, and then you have the one I can't even pronounce this card, but you basically have the one snake that basically again lets you special summon this card, and it works pretty much. It's like fail proof, it's always going to go off. So that was the danger engine. Of course, the 3 malicious, the 3 grepher, the only 2 Armageddon Knights. He is playing Rhoda, so it's like he's playing 3. This is why Dark Goki is what it is. This deck just does everything, and with this dark engine, it's insane. Who would have thought Malicious would come back and rear its ugly head to be like one of the most ridiculous cards that helps you link climb and just completely just destroy your opponent. Same thing with Grepher and Armageddon. They're basically like a 1-card U-Link. It's pretty crazy. It's like a 1-card FTK in its sense, because you're basically just locking your opponent out of the game. So really, really insane. His Goki engine, believe it or not, was very small. This is becoming the norm. He ran only 1 Suprex, 1 Headbat, double Octo, and one Twist Cobra. I've noticed a lot of Goki decks, which are basically not even Goki decks anymore, are basically cutting down on the Gokis, but are playing enough to be able to combo off. So depending on what you send for a Zold, you're able to summon them and just continue to link climb and just, ruin your opponent's day. He played the 1 Aqua Dolphin, which I think is really cool. This card, you guys already know, has already won a YCS, and I mean, this card just takes away any problematic card in your opponent's hand basically for free. So it's pretty crazy, and also you can get some burn damage in there. He played the 1 Silent Boots. This is an extender, so this card's really good. You open this and the trap card, you guys already know he's playing 3 copies of that, so if he sees it, he sees it. And then the 1 Ibleak is part of the combo. So those are all the monsters. Spells, 3 instant fusion, self-explanatory. That's one of your extenders. Rhoda gets everything in the deck. Soul Charge is game. He actually drew Soul Charge in the finals. So GG no re. The 1 rematch, the 1 reborn. 2 Call by the Graveshare plays go off. He played 2 copies of Twin Twister. He played these because of all the back row decks he thought he was going to play against, and they came in clutch. So don't really need to explain that. You guys know how much I love Twin Twister and how important it is to still have it for the Sky Striker matchup as well as the Altergeist matchup. His equips, he played DDR, the Sword, and Living Fossil, basically 2 reborn cards, and then you guys already know how broken Sword is. He opted to only play 2 copies of Midbreaker Field. Probably figured in a long tournament it's better to not brick on this card, and seeing it is good enough to win. So card's really good. So this with plus Call by the Grave basically make sure all your plays go off. And then the 3 big Brigadine because it's a starter card. Extra deck is extremely standard. There's nothing really to talk about. Raigen's your instant fusion target. Gumblar just destroys your opponent's life. This card should be banned. This card should be banned. This card is insane because it just negates stuff. You have Nightmares, Double Isolde, self-explanatory. Cerebus, Proxy, all that matters is the left and right arrow. Underclock Taker, cards nuts. The Double Mermaid is the only thing that is different, I guess, and this is starting to become a trend. It's just the better way to play the deck. Just gives you more options, so pretty self-explanatory. And then the one link Karibo. Side deck was double Ash, double Ogre. He's not maining hand traps in the main, so you got to have him somewhere in the side deck along with triple impermanence. You guys already know. We got the 3 Eclipse. This card is actually insane against Thunder Dragons. You just book the whole field and just run everything over. 3rd Twin, 3rd Midbreaker, self-explanatory, and then 3 Red Reboot for back row decks. So that's pretty much the whole deck. You guys already know what Goki does. Goki, Dark Warrior deck, whatever you want to call it. You basically just Gunblar your opponent for 4 and you link them. Very few decks can out that. Very few. So pretty insane. But why I felt this deck won was because it's still Goki at the end of the day. It's still going to U-Link you. It's still going to Gunblar you for 4, and it's still going to punish you. It's still going to play cards like Midbreaker Field, and it's really just going to lay down basically the law of what the deck does, and I think it's honestly insane. I think a lot of people knew Goki was going to be represented, but I think they didn't take into account that it was going to make it all the way to the finals and do what it did. Because when it was time for top 8, I believe this was the only Goki again in top 8, and then top 4, and then finals, you guys already know. Another thing I'd say is that this deck was built really well to just do everything that the deck does. I feel that with the dangers, you're able to play through more hand traps, and I think that was the name of the game for this tournament, is playing against more hand traps. You know that now with Thunder Dragons out, Ghost Spell is going to see more play. You know Ash is standard, and you just need to be able to play through these cards in addition to having Midbreaker Field and Call by the Grave. So I think that was one of the main reasons. I think one of the other reasons is that this deck can just, you know, keep going and going and going. And I mean, you have so many extenders that, like I said, not only do you play through hand traps, but you can just overwhelm your opponent so quickly. Like, you can literally just start doing the U-Link combo and they'll scoop. And yes, there are a lot of side deck cards that people can side, but I think people were expecting more Thunder Dragons and more Sky Strikers. So I want to say that people were not properly prepared for Goki. I know that there's a lot of cards you can play, but a lot of times if you're getting U-Linked and Gunblard for 4, you're left with 2 cards. What can you really do? So you need to take that into account. I think another reason this deck did so well is because if you look at Goki's history against the pretty much all the main decks of the format, Sky Strikers, Altergeist, etc., it has a really good matchup. Everyone is saying, well, what if Thunder Dragons goes first and establishes Colossus? Like, the deck can still play around it. The deck still has ways to, you know, just try to get rid of the Colossus. They might have a way to go into Unicorn before continuing their plays. Like, if you look at this deck, there's so many extenders that can just push the deck beyond just having to deal with one problematic monster, and I think that's why this deck did so well. I also think that the way that this was constructed, all the ratios are on point. I think the Danger Engine really came into, like the full, kind of came full circle this event, because it really established itself as a really good way to, you know, not only extend, but to continue to draw cards. And we already know drawing cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is broken, so being able to do that is pretty insane. I think overall the deck was really well built. I think, the extra deck, there's nothing really to talk about. You guys already know. I think the side deck covers everything else. And I think that overall, that when you're going to play in a large tournament like this, you need to prepare for all those situations. I feel that's exactly what Gabe did. Not only that, another reason I feel this deck won is because it was piloted by someone who is very familiar with Goki. Not only did Gabe win Nationals with Goki, but then he went on to play it at YCS Columbus, where he topped, and then again he played it here. And, you know, the results speak for themselves. Like, he's been very successful with the deck. He knows what he's doing with the deck, and he knows how to play against pretty much every deck of the format, and I think that's what it takes to win. And let's face it, you win the die roll and you just start comboing, your opponent has no response, or you have Midbreaker Field or Call by the Grave, the game's pretty much over. Like, very few decks can recover from that. I know Thunder Dragons can do a couple things, because, you know, if you Gunblar them, you know, things will activate. If you hit other danger cards, things will activate. But at the end of the day, if you're Gunblaring and put your opponent for 4, they have 2 cards, they have nothing that can, you know, answer not only a U-Link, but, Gunblar or Trigate, all these negates, like, there's nothing you can do. So I honestly think it's crazy. I think the deck is nuts. I feel that we've said it enough. This card needs to go. This card causes so many problems. Not only this, but it caused an FTK, you guys. Like, that's pretty insane. I know people are going to complain and say, oh, just ban fire cannon soldiers. That's probably what's going to happen. You know why? Because apparently this card is untouchable. But overall, I think with time, maybe we'll see Firewall errated. I don't think we'll ever see the card banned since it is a card in the anime. And I know everyone says that's not a good excuse, but you know what? It seems to be working for the card. So hopefully we see an errata that will keep the card around, but it'll make it a hard once per turn all around so that we don't have to continue to play against you Link.dag, Dark Warrior, you lose on turn 1, Gumblar you for your life, and, you know, FTKs and whatnot all around. But anyways, that's all I gotta say, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. 50 plus likes lets me know you enjoyed it. As soon as the Danger Dark World FTK becomes live, if we get the list, I'll definitely do a video on why that deck almost won the YCS or why it had so much success, because I definitely want to talk about it. I'm a huge fan of Dark World, and the fact that it was incorporated into a loop is crazy. I know you guys are going to say it's because of Firewall Dragon, but you know, I'm sure that Firewall Dragon got cherried. I'm sure Firewall Dragon got ogred, but you know, you can play around all that, and that's what this deck did, and that's why this deck did its thing, and that's why Gabe is the YCS Niagara Falls champion of 2018. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.